Part 3. In this part, you will hear 3 talks or lectures. The talks or lectures will not be repeated. There are 5 questions for each talk or lecture. For each question, choose the right answer A, B, C, or D. Questions 21 to 25 refer to the following lecture. Listen to a lecture in an education class. The professor is talking about early teachers. All of you are enrolled in this introductory education course because you want to become teachers. I'd like to introduce this course because you want to become teachers. I'd like to introduce this course with a little information about the life of a teacher that has changed over the past century. Early in the 20th century, the life of a teacher was quite different from what it is now. There were very strict rules that governed every aspect of a teacher's life. The rules were not just about how a teacher could conduct herself in the classroom and on the school grounds. There were also numerous rules that governed just about everything a teacher did. Here are some of the rules. Teachers had to follow strict rules about their appearance. They were sometimes told not to wear colorful clothing, not to dye their hair or wear it loose, and not to wear their skirts above their ankles. Teachers' whereabouts during after-school hours were also strictly regulated. There were rules forbidding teachers to go to bars and to ice cream parlors. There were rules requiring teachers to be at home after 8 o'clock in the evening, and there were rules forbidding them to leave town without permission. Just about any action a teacher wanted to take could be regulated. Teachers could be forbidden to smoke or to drink. They were also sometimes forbidden to spend time with men or to marry if they wanted to remain teachers. Questions 26 to 30 refer to the following professor's talk. Listen to a lecture in a biology class. The lecture is on tropism in plants. Today, I'll be talking about the concept of tropism as it relates to plants. Tropism, for those of you who don't know, refers to a bending of a plant or a part of a plant in response to outside stimulus. There are 3 important kinds of tropism. They are phototropism, geotropism, and hydrotropism. In each of these kinds of tropism, a plant or a part of a plant bends in response to a different kind of outside stimulus. First, we'll discuss phototropism. The outside stimulus in phototropism. The outside stimulus in phototropism is light. When a plant is affected by phototropism, it grows in the direction of a light source such as the sun. The second kind of tropism is geotropism. In geotropism, the outside stimulus is gravity. In a plant affected by geotropism, the affected part of the plant grows directly downward because of the pull of gravity. When a plant is affected by geotropism, it's often the root structure that's affected. The final kind of tropism that I'll discuss today is hydrotropism. When hydrotropism affects a plant, this means that the plant is drawn towards water. A plant under the effect of hydrotropism will grow in the direction of its water source. Questions 31 to 35 refer to the following lecture. Listen to a lecture in history class. The lecture is on the St. Louis Arch. Today we'll look at a structure that is popularly called the St. Louis Arch. We'll be looking at how it was constructed and, more importantly, why it was constructed and what it commemorates. In this photo, you can see the 630-foot high stainless steel arch. It's remarkable for its engineering. It has no inner form. Instead, it is dependent on its two hollow legs for support. There are trams inside the legs to take visitors to an observatory at the top of the arch. Most people call it the St. Louis Arch because it is in St. Louis, but its real name is the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial. It's a memorial because it was built in memory of the expansion of the nation beyond St. Louis. It's named after Jefferson because it was under the presidency of Thomas Jefferson that the greatest expansion of the country took place. In 1804, several years after the start of Jefferson's presidency, Lewis and Clark set out from St. Louis to explore new territories to the west. Their expedition was a 4,000-mile trip from St. Louis to the Pacific Northwest and back that lasted a little more than 2 years. In the years following the expedition of Lewis and Clark, thousands of pioneers set off from St. Louis and headed west. It was to honor this period of expansion that the arch was constructed. The arch itself was designed to represent a gateway, or a doorway to the west. At the base of the arch, there's a subterranean museum. This museum is named the Museum of Westward Expansion because it honors all the pioneers who headed west from St. Louis. In the middle of the museum is a statue of the president who was responsible for much of this expansion, Thomas Jefferson.